Hello and welcome to Did You Know Gaming Extra. Today we'll be looking at expensive gaming hardware. A wise man once said, "All that glitters is gold, only shooting stars break the mold." As part of a marketing stunt, THQ intended to introduce Queen Elizabeth to the world of gaming with meteoric style. To promote the release of their 2009 Wii title, Big Family Games, THQ sent a shining golden Wii console to the British royal family. Danielle Robinson, acting as the project manager at the time, believed the game would be a hit with the royals. While it was unlikely that the Queen would have actually played the console, it was later confirmed that she never even received it. When news that the Queen was set to receive a one-of-a-kind console, collectors quickly took notice. It turned out that console's delivery wasn't actually signed for at Buckingham Palace, and so it was sent back to the THQ headquarters. After the company went through liquidation in 2012, the Royal Wii ended up in the hands of one of the company's old employees, who proceeded to sell it on to a high-end gaming collector. Interestingly, the Queen did end up playing with a Wii and was allegedly quite the fan of Wii bowling. But alas, time went on, and no news of the Golden Wii surfaced. That is, until a team member at Console Variations got their hands on it, including certificates and even markings where the hardware had been sitting on the red pillow featured in the original press release photo. All that was missing was the golden nunchuck. This wouldn't be the only Golden Wii, however. In 2011, Stuart Hughes, known for creating extremely expensive customized hardware, created 3 Nintendo Wii Supremes. The Supremes boasted over 2.5 kilograms, about 5.5 pounds, of 22-karat gold, weighing more than the original console itself. It also showcased 78 half-carat diamonds, garnishing the system's physical buttons. These systems were sold for £299,995 British pounds, which adjusted for inflation would be just over £380,000, or about $515,000 US in today's economy. What's also interesting is that the actual gold here is only worth about $100,000, and the diamonds are worth at the most $65,000 as well. So, you'd be spending about $350,000 for just a Wii. Although the Golden Wiis may have been the most expensive consoles on sale, they aren't the most expensive piece of gaming hardware that we know of. In early 2008, Japanese computer distributor Zeus released a pair of highly lavish gaming PCs. The cases for these two computers were made out of solid platinum and gold, and were named the Jupiter and Mars versions respectively. Both versions were also studded with diamonds, which were arranged in the form of astrological constellations. The PC's notable components were a 3 GHz Intel Core 2 Duo CPU, 2 GB of DDR2 RAM, a 256 MB GeForce 8400 GS graphics card, a 1 TB hard drive, and a dual Blu-ray and HD DVD drive. While these components were fairly high-end for 2008, they certainly weren't cutting edge. This makes their whopping 80 million yen and 60 million yen price tags even harder to justify. The more expensive of the two, the 80 million yen Platinum Jupiter version, would cost around $760,000 US when adjusted for inflation. That's about 100 times more expensive than the most high-end Alienware PC at the time of this recording, and we all know how expensive Alienware really is. If you're rich enough to afford anything we've covered so far, you probably live a fast and on-the-move lifestyle, and might prefer your gaming bling in handheld form. In 2007, an 18-karat gold Nintendo Gameboy was commissioned by Aspreys of London, featuring diamonds embedded around the device's screen and power button. The Game Boy weighed in at 27 ounces, almost 3.5 times heavier than the original handheld, and it came with a blue leather carry case and a few games. The Game Boy was sold by Swiss Supply Direct for $29,500, which adjusted for inflation is about $35,500 in today's money. Although not as expensive as the other hardware on this list, it's quite expensive for a piece of hardware that released in the 80s. And now it's time for this episode's random piece of trivia. Today we're talking about the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 rhythm game Power Gig: Rise of the Sixth String. For those who aren't aware, Power Gig is a Guitar Hero clone developed by 745, with the main difference being that Power Gig had a more realistic guitar peripheral. The game centers around using their 6-string guitar, with the intention of teaching players skills that could be applied to playing a real guitar. In a promotional video for the game, the company released a huge volume of classic Guitar Hero-style controllers into the Icelandic volcano Eyjafjallajökull. I'm sorry if I pronounced that horrendously, but really, you can't blame me. This volcano made headlines in 2010 after it erupted a massive cloud of volcanic ash, which caused flight travel disruptions across Europe. 745's plan was to have the controllers plunge into the blazing inferno at the volcano's peak. It wasn't until a year after the promotional video was released, however, that visual effects artist Aaron Vasquez released a breakdown of how the footage had been edited. The original footage showed that the volcano was not the hellscape they expected, and was instead a dormant volcano with little drama. In effect, this revealed that they had just dumped a large quantity of plastic on the side of a mountain, which is likely still there. Thanks for watching, but did you know DidYouKnowGaming is supported by Patreon. With the help of all of these people on screen, we're able to continue doing what we do. If you'd like to get involved and help us out, check out the link in the description down below. As Stanley roamed the corridors of his office, he thought of his co-workers who had seemingly disappeared. His boss, Chad Barnin, was never late. Why, straight up Yuri wouldn't allow it. If your boy Beowulf was there, he'd be livid. Stanley didn't even care to imagine how Hector I. Murillo would feel. But then, what about the crew from the party the night before? Gillian from the Block, the three Master Gamers, Nesta Deli on the third, and Petite Mew. Stanley thought over his suspicions of Jank and Pandion. Was this their doing? It couldn't be Phantom Sonic, Kyle Brackman, or Vitas Varnus. Stanley left his office to look for T. Kazoo. Oh, what's this? No, he must be going to see Super AJS, or the Natch. This was certainly not the path to Robert Cox. He ignored the note left for him by Boreas Bear, which read, "That's right, read my name, you dirty girl." As Stanley roamed the corridors, he remembered the interns he was to be training. Gitsaberry, Jordan Ferrari, Joshua Bock, and Maximilian Summers. There was even the Russian representative coming in today, Arkady Skywalker. In his head, he knew something was off. An Error 1355 sort of off. Was he just a max a few trades? Matthews had written the rota for that week. Dean Evanger Jr. even signed off on it. Stanley knew. He read over that rota 32,232,232 times, and Paul White II had done the same. As Stanley's mind kept racing over those missing, his mind turned to Karam Chowdhury and the fallout with Yumi the Palico. Listen, Stanley, this is all a joke. One of Malcavio's tricks. No, this is all Devin Sloan's doing. He is the one at fault. It can't be Stanley. He was always such a good worker. Don't forget to throw the video a like if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you're feeling fancy, and if you can, pop the bell, a cheeky little tap or a click to show it who's boss.